In the early 2020s, the new CEO of Warner Brothers, David Zaslav, went on a spree. A killing spree. He basically took a bunch of films that were finished or near completion and cancelled them. It was a tax write-off, as simple as that. He just decided that the money that they got from cancelling them would be worth more than these films, these pieces of art, which will never see the light of day. There were three major ones, one being Batgirl, another being the Scoob sequel, and the third is Coyote versus Acme, a film that for a long time would never see the light of day. And then, from the heavens, a beautiful savior came in the form of Ketchup Entertainment, who has saved this film. And here it is. We have a film that we thought we would never get to see, Coyote versus Acme. And I think, as everybody predicted, it's great.
It's a banger. And I just love how they brought the idea of Wile E. Coyote as a character that just had to go through so much suffering from Acme and wanted to get this bird, this road runner, after all these years. And it just has this amazing twist to it in terms of like a court drama. And seeing this actually not being shelved and saved by captured distribution is just incredible. I think it's just brilliant that we get to see this film finally on the big screen.
This is the Out of Time Film Podcast, where your hosts Tom and John discuss everything from blockbuster films to TV and games like there's no tomorrow.
After Coyote vs. Acme was shelved, I think a lot of people would have assumed that that might have been one of the final nails in the coffin for the Looney Tunes on the big screen. But 2026 has come out swinging. We've had not just Coyote vs. Acme, but also The Day the Earth Blew Up. Two very, very fun and enjoyable, sweet Looney Tunes films that maintain the core of the Looney Tunes, but also do something cool and cinematic. I would hope these two films aren't the end. I would hope that we continue seeing more Looney Tunes in the future because, yeah, it doesn't seem like the studios really care about them, but they're part of animated history, and I think they still can have appeal in the modern day, as Coyote vs. Acme especially shows in the way that it's commenting on quite a few very new concepts for this franchise.
Yeah, what's tackling is very relevant in today's sense with companies and data and the idea of what technology is advancing to today. I was so surprised that this film just actually goes into it, even though it's like a children's film. It's kind of political as well in terms of company and CEOs as well. And it just gives you a really good lesson to keep trying in a really difficult world. Wile E. Coyote resembles that idea of hope. He's not Superman, but he is the idea of like you need to keep going. But what I really loved about this film is just it is pretty darn hilarious. It's darn hilarious. Yes, I'm American. It's hilarious. I think it's just maintained that Looney Tunes-esque. And I think the day the Earth blew up, we saw that. That was a crazy film to watch. But I prefer so much this because it just felt grounded.
Interesting. I think I preferred the comedy of Day the Earth Blew Up. I mean, I preferred Coyote versus Acme as a film, but I liked the kind of insanity that was the Day the Earth Blew Up. But having said that, what's cool about Coyote versus Acme is that you get a little bit of everything. Everyone's faves are represented. You get a lot of different
Yes.
smaller roles for a lot of the tunes. So much of it is slapstick and blowing stuff up. There is a really brilliant blend between live action and animation. This is coming off a long line, Who Framed Roger Rabbit and the Space Jam films and Looney Tunes Back in Action. Frequently, you have live action things interacting with cartoons and cartoons interacting with live action things. It is seamless. It makes for some excellent comedy. It looks so good. I think a lot of this film I spent sitting there just marveling at how impressive it is that the animation has come this far after all this time. Having started with something as revered as Who Framed Roger Rabbit and now still being able to do those techniques. They don't, because you remember in Space Jam and New Legacy, if I dare bring that film up, where
Wow.
they make all the Looney Tunes 3D, they give them furry textures for like Bugs Bunny and stuff. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tom, you just decided to go deep into my
That's right.
brain.
Yeah, I'm
Wow.
I'm making you remember awful things after we've just had a great
Wow.
day.
Thank
But
you.
yeah, you're welcome. But they don't do that here. They manage to seamlessly blend these 2D designs into a 3D environment, and it looks great. It does.
Yeah, it doesn't really look janky or jarring. I'm just so impressed as well. There'll be some really impressive CGI where they will flip the roads, like they will just turn it into a carpet. It's just defining against real life physics, with realism clashing with the cartoonish ideas of what physics can be reckoned with in a way. The other thing that I was really impressed with was just John Cena. And I'm really glad that we get to see the villain side of John Cena because he is a hero a lot in the films, like Fred 2 and Fred 3. He's Fred's dad. Was he Fred's dad? No
Was
idea.
he Fred's
Um,
dad? Yeah.
yeah, he was Fred's dad.
Was he? Oh my God.
I can't remember. Those films were just crazy. Anyway, it's lovely to see him interacting with cartoonish elements. It just weirdly fits into his catalogue of films. Like he's like, oh yeah, he's done this, he's done this. He's John Cena after all. What can he do?
What I love is that, like any great film of this caliber, like a lot of Muppet films as well, everyone is treating this very seriously. There are
Yes.
moments where the characters speak to the Looney Tunes who basically speak gobbledygook or speak only in like one phrase, and everyone can understand them. Like the audience can't understand them, but what's that one that you love?
Oh
I'm
my
not.
God.
Yeah, your guy.
Oh, I was laughing so hard. He is goated for many reasons. It's just the Tasmanian Devil Taz.
Right, yes,
Taz.
Tasman. Yeah, yes. So,
Yes.
so John's the Looney Tunes expert here on this episode,
I
but
I used to have plushies, guys. I used to have plushies of some of the most great Looney Tunes characters: Daffy, Bugs, Coyote.
yeah, and you were telling me that you burnt them, right? You set a fire in your back garden and you doused them in oil and then set them alight, right?
I don't remember you. I don't
Yeah,
remember telling
you
you
were
that.
you were telling me that. Yeah. You were saying that
Were you
yeah,
there?
it was you and John Cena and you destroyed all your
John Cena
No,
was there.
it was
What was he?
No,
Invisible? I didn't see him.
it was David Zaslav there with you guys.
Oh,
And he was
David. Oh, that day. Oh, yeah. That. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
That
yeah,
bastard.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
remember
yeah,
that?
yeah. He talked about Batgirl or something. Yeah, I didn't hear him.
Yeah,
I didn't hear him.
whatever. Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
Batgirl.
David was like, I'm thinking of canceling this movie, and John was like, yeah, do it.
Yeah,
So
do it.
it's
And
all
I thought,
your
Byrne.
fault.
Oh, God damn it.
So Tasmanian Devil is there, and he's speaking like, and
Which I absolutely loved.
yeah, that
It's
John was beside
Perfect.
himself. And the great thing is that he does his like, and then the characters are like, interesting. So what about this? And then he'll go, and they'll say, so wait, can I just check? Are you saying that? And it's like, I think it's just so funny how everyone treats it so seriously. All the human characters. There's a really brilliant bit with Daffy Duck where Daffy is just losing his mind, and the way that the human characters react to that whole thing is just so funny. Our main two are Will Forte, who plays this low-level lawyer who is once was trying to do good, but now is just kind of gotten used to simply settling because he's so scared of losing that he never really fights. And then he's contrasted with his trainee, played by Lana Condor, who is much more bright-eyed and like, no, we can take on the company. And I think they're both really good, but it's also a really great underdog story to follow. I think it's very ironic that Coyote versus Acme was cancelled by a big studio, and the film itself is about these small lawyers going up against a massive corporation. The thing that brought Coyote versus Acme back was a small fan push to see it and a small studio who would be willing to distribute it. That is not lost on me. It's cool that even metatextually and in the film itself, this is a lesson to fight the man. Don't just suck up to studios and their whims. There's a lot of talk going on right now about studios silencing voices and cancelling projects, and that's the kind of stuff that shouldn't be stood for. And this film is a really surprisingly brilliant depiction of that.
Yeah, again, that was something that I wasn't really expecting this film to take jabs at companies that are trying to take ownership from people's voices or trying to cancel them out. It just gave me flashbacks to how Batgirl was just taken away within seconds. They completely deleted the movie. Imagine this movie being lost. It speaks so many volumes about how companies are treating animation. Like they completely just that to the side and say, nah. I'm really happy that we got to see it. What's interesting as well, this film plays a lot with Greek mythology. The film goes into the idea of Sisyphus. And what's interesting is that it's also linking a lot to Coyote because he's been through such a lot of suffering to chase after the Roadrunner. If you look at the poster right now, it's literally Coyote pushing the bomb uphill. I think that's brilliant because, again, that speaks a lot about today and how companies are just making things worse and worse and worse for this massive boulder that's going to keep crushing down and then just say, there's nothing you can do. It's a great underdog story. I agree. It's just, it works so well.
What you're saying is that it pairs perfectly with Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey.
That I was not expecting.
I said that just as John had taken a sip of his drink.
I was not expecting it. Like, imagine the Coyote just chasing the Roadrunner across the seas, and you see Odysseus, like, holy
Yeah.
shit, what's Coyote's doing there, going across the sea?
If anything, the endings of the two films are kind of also similar. Do we get into spoilers now?
Yes, let's
Yeah,
go
okay.
into spoilers.
Okay,
Yes.
the ending of the film. So the whole time they're trying to get Roadrunner to testify in court, and nobody can catch him. It's a brilliant ongoing bit where the underdog lawyers try and Acme, the big corporation, try to catch him, to get him to testify in court or to stop him from testifying in court. And eventually he just comes of his own accord and they say, okay, 2 beeps for yes, 1 beep for no. And they ask him a question. And after they've asked him all these questions, he says something that only the transcriber at the court hearing can translate. And this was where the film hit me emotionally in a way that I just didn't expect. The Roadrunner said directly to Wile E. Coyote, "Are you coming back?" It's just this massively surprising emotional core about these two people who have been chasing each other forever, locked in this internal game that they have begun to love each other because of it. Because of just that simple thing that has brought them purpose. And that's what we love about it. And we realize that they themselves have a passion for what they do. And just that
Yeah.
simple thing of having him say, "Are you coming back?" It's a beautiful just story about sometimes you lose something that you may not have even treasured that much, but you realize that what you're actually getting out of this big part of your life is much more than you could have imagined. And that hit me like a ton of bricks. Like, wow.
Yeah, I think this film gets you in the most unexpected ways. Because I watched a lot of Looney Tunes back in the day. I was just obsessed with Wile E. Coyote and his inventions as well from Acme, like how he's trying to get to it. And the one thing that I didn't really consider was like, did the Roadrunner see him as a friend or someone that will keep him company as well in the desert, keep him running, keep him company. Just hearing that, are you coming back? And he also acknowledges the pain and suffering Coyote's been through, but he also wants to motivate his friend as well, like to keep going, to keep running and running with him. And then just says, "Are you coming back?" Like, it's just, I was not expecting that at all. I was like, wow.
Yes, and this is why I've made the comparison between the endings of this film and The Odyssey, because Coyote versus Acme ends with Coyote finally returning to the desert where Roadrunner is waiting for him, and the two of them run off into the sun, continuing their eternal chase. They go off to a place where their mistakes are forgotten, just like Odysseus and Penelope.
This is peak. This is peak right here. Like, they actually questioned about Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner relationship and actually explore that on an emotional level. God damn, that's crazy. Yeah,
I don't know
love
how they
that.
did that. I was really enjoying the film, but the way that those final 20 minutes managed to bring emotion out of me was so unexpected. The film ends and the lawyers don't win against Acme. Acme wins the court ruling, and that's kind of what happens so often. The big corporation does win, and the little that's why it's so difficult. And then there's a whole hijinks where Coyote manages to kind of trap the big head of Acme and John Cena, and Bugs Bunny gives them evidence, and so they begin to actually take them down, which is kind of all towards the end. But I think the core of what the characters learn, they may not have been able to break the corporation, they may not have been able to change the system, but they've proven that they can give a voice on a major level to the oppressed, to the cartoons who people see as expendable, and they can take a hit, so we can just hit them as many times as we want. And the ending of the film shows that so many cartoons are emboldened by their actions, so come to this little law firm to kind of seek representation and to kind of speak out against the company, and that's kind of what triggers this downfall. But that was also so cool to see. Don't give up. Don't just stop because you're not seeing a change in result, because there is always a point to what you're doing and you can always achieve that, especially when it's giving a voice to historically smaller voices. It's just like those final 20 minutes were just hitting me. I was like, whoa, okay, we're giving me some big things to think about here.
Yeah, especially when Coyote realizes that he was being tested, really, to like use all those Acme technology or prototypes It's metatextual. Again, it has been through a lot of sufferings. And then for this movie to be shelved, it's like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, Coyote versus Acme is great, and that proves that studios don't know anything. David Zaslav shelved this film, probably because he didn't think it was up to scratch, probably because he didn't think that audiences were going to come and see it. But it's great, and I hope audiences do go and see it, and it's released a week early for us in the UK, so I don't have any information on how it's performed in its first weekend or anything like that. All I can say is that I hope that it does really well, and I hope that it's really popular, because I think even if you're not looking for all that kind of metatextual and emotional stuff, it's a lot of fun. But it makes me look at Batgirl, it makes me look at Scoob, it makes me look at a bunch of things that are shelved because, oh, they're not popular enough, or they're not making money, or there's too much controversy online. Studios never know what is right for these kinds of things. 90% of the time, it's not every single time, but most of the time, it's people who don't actually know what they're talking about making these decisions. And so off the back of Coyote vs. Acme, I want to see Batgirl more than ever. I want to see Scoob Holiday Haunt more than ever, because clearly David Zaslav doesn't know what the fuck he is talking about, because this film was fantastic.
I agree. It's obviously sound like he's listening to investors. It's just such a confusing, idiotic choice to shelve this film. It's a lot of creativity that people really took the time to take care of this film. It is delicate, in terms of like how they have to do so much animation around the human characters. And it's so impressive how they merged the 2D style format into 3D. Like a regular hammer, like a judge's hammer, a gavel. Like a judge's gavel was just like a toy. And it's just so impressive to see all of that come to life. And they speak so much authenticity about animation and how animation is so unique, impossible in today's world. And for a guy to decide, nah, I don't think people want to see this. Crazy.
Some people have too much control and too much money.
But do go see this film. Please do.
Absolutely.
It's brilliant.
Yeah. What are you going to give it out of 10?
I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. This was a really good film. People think, 7 out of 10 is not great. It is.
Yes.
Please.
It's a good score. It's a fun time. I agree. 7 out of 10. And thank you everybody for listening. This is our 6-year special. We've been doing this for 6 whole years. We're essentially out of our infancy at this point. But as ever, thank you everybody for listening. And thank you everyone behind the scenes who has been a part of this every episode. It's still so much fun.
6 years. 6 years of listening to the incessant ramblings and childish takes of the so-called Out of Time Film Podcast. They are running out of time. I am the one who will dismantle their order. Listen for my chimes. It begins in 1 week.